Murakami, through those years in Toronto, was like keeping me company. His characters were my friends. Just sort of this like magical world. The world is just such a crazy, like life is just such a crazy abstract experience, and like what is all this? Like, like I don't really know.
Hi, this is Engel. Today I'm here with ALLIE X. So you were born in Canada, or?
Yeah, I was born in Canada, just outside of Toronto.
Mm-hmm. Were your family like living in England at some point?
How do you know that? Yeah, my dad's from England.
What made him move to Canada? Was his job, or?
My mom.
Oh,
yeah.
so sweet!
Yeah.
What did they do?
Wow, I've never been asked these questions before. My dad has, he works in the aviation industry, and my mom was a stay-at-home mom.
Where do you get your creative side from?
I think my dad.
Yeah.
I feel like my dad has this sort of like untapped creativity that it's not untapped, it's just that he never got to express it like professionally.
Mm-hmm. What kind of music were they playing in the house when you were growing up?
A lot of like Motown, classic rock, psychedelic rock, and then just like top 40.
Yeah. You were into that like indie stuff also, right? Like rock stuff?
Yeah, but I feel like I didn't start properly listening to music until later, like college.
Oh.
Yeah, I was kind of a late bloomer in that way, and then once I started listening to more indie, more experimental electronica, like I sort of had this, musical revelation, and that's when I started writing too.
Were you also into like more classical stuff, or?
Yeah, I studied classical.
Yeah.
It wasn't really for me. I really enjoy classical piano. Mm-hmm. I never had the chops to make it as a classical pianist, but like I was decent enough, and I still to this day really enjoy like learning a like Bach or like a Chopin piece, and just seeing how well I can do with that. And I also love going to see classical music. When it came to classical voice, though, I felt like it was kind of stupid. Like, I mean that's a broad generalization, but I just felt like it was kind of like I didn't like the people. It was very strict, and it was only about using this one part of your voice, and the voice has so many facets, and it can really be, sometimes to make a really ugly sound can be the most beautiful thing to listen to. So I don't know, I just felt really limited by that, and I did it for 2 years seriously, and then I never pursued it past that.
Were you in some sort of like reality TV show?
Girl, you are bringing up all the dirt, and you're not even looking at like a notepad or anything. It's all memorized.
I thought we studied and memorized. Like, okay.
This girl's full of surprises. Let's just say no, I was not on a reality television show. Just leave it at that.
How would you describe yourself back then growing up?
Always weird. Early childhood years I was getting made fun of constantly, so I think I sort of learned how to show the sides of me that attracted people to me, which was my voice, singing, and being funny. And yeah, I think I was just a really sort of scared kid that was like holding on to various things to just, not be made fun of. Then as I got older, I sort of settled into myself a little more and really started to embrace my weirdness.
Did you like school or not at all?
I was like a C student, other than English and music and like visual art at one point. But yeah, I never like loved school until later when I got to just do purely like stuff I was good at.
Yeah. Was music always a big part of your life? Like, did you know that it's going to be the career that you wanted your life devoted to?
I did, yeah. Yeah, I always knew. I never had any other options.
So you didn't have any musicians in the family, or even like uncles, or how did you know that was like a viable?
My great-grandparents, like my grandpa's grandparents, they were musicians. They were session musicians. They think one of them played the drums and the other the piano. I don't know if they did it full time. Like, I don't know if they made money. But I think maybe they did. I should find out more. But yeah, for at least 2 generations, there's been no serious. I have an uncle who's a painter too. So like there are little like threads in our genealogy of creative arts, but it's definitely not like an artistic family.
Yeah. Where do you think you got like the confidence or characteristic from that you know that you could like one day it will work out, even though you didn't really have people around you who are doing it?
I don't know. Like, first of all, I don't even really know what it working out is because like now I'm at a point where I'm able to sustain myself without working a day job, and like that's definitely a level of success.
Yes.
But have I like made it? Like, I don't know. But anyway, I've always had this sort of like confidence. I'm not a confident person, but I've always had a confidence in my abilities to be an artist. And I don't really know where it comes from, but it's there, and it's still there. And I'm just gonna see how it goes. I really like. I don't think that I could do anything else, so I just got to make it work.
I love that. So did you go to college at all, or?
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I took a year off, and then I went to college, and yep.
What did you do music, or?
I did musical theater, yeah. It's kind of embarrassing, but there were some things I learned there that I apply to my performance now, but mostly not, you know, like it's funny, at the time I really liked it, but now when I see people singing that way, it's just like, I don't know, sort of like my tastes have changed, I guess.
How long after that until you moved to LA?
Long, I think, like 4 years?
Oh.
Yeah, just me. It was just me alone in my little apartment, like learning how to write music really and produce. And just writing like tons of songs, most of them bad, until I hustled my way into like a publishing deal and got out here. Yeah.
Were you like living with your parents still back then, or?
No, I left.
Oh, so were you doing other jobs?
Yeah. I was, I did catering. I would teach voice lessons, which I actually really liked.
Oh.
And then, oh my God, I'm just telling you everything, but it's fine. Yeah, I was in a cover band. It was really fun though.
Yeah.
And what else? I think once or twice I did like a little acting job, like a small part on a TV show or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's about it.
And then, what made you want to get like a writing deal, right? Was it
Publishing deal?
Publishing deal.
Instead I just wanted, you know, LA was like calling to me. I visited a friend who, early, like after college, she moved out here because she got a part on All My Children. And I came out to visit her, and I sort of just had this feeling like I'm supposed to be in this city. And so it wasn't so much me going after a publishing deal as it was like I knew the publisher was based in LA, and I knew they could get me out here. And I knew that there was some, you know, money to be made in songwriting. So I don't know. I wasn't being like too strategic. I was kind of always just like opening myself to any opportunity.
Were you putting out stuff? Like when did ALLIE X start?
When I moved to LA.
Oh,
I mean,
so you weren't putting out stuff before. It was like
no. I officially put out my first single as ALLIE X. Wow, these are beautiful.
Yeah, really like this like purple color. I don't even know.
They look like some sort of alien flower.
Yeah.
I put out my first single in 2014, which is right after I moved to Los Angeles.
Oh.
But I mean, I was like incubating everything for years in that apartment in Toronto. And everyone in Toronto, all my musician friends were like, "What are you up to? What are you doing? Why aren't you performing?" And I was like, just let me do it. Like, I
Yeah.
just had this sort of vision, and and that turned into ALLIE X. I turned into ALLIE X.
I love that. So all the years before that, you're just kind of collecting songs, and like you were you waiting for the right
I was
moment?
finding a sound. I don't know, like, if other artists can relate to this, but I had a lot to say, and I had a lot of feelings, and I had a lot to express, but I didn't have the sonics that were doing that properly. So it was really about sort of listening to a lot of music, trying out a lot of stuff, and the big thing for me was learning how to produce, because all of a sudden I was able to sort of like, instead of like trying to describe to another producer what I was hearing, I could actually like play it, you know, and do it myself. So that was kind of like the thing that really helped me find my sound.
How are you able to get a publishing deal initially? Did you already like know people?
It was like, somebody who knew somebody else who knew somebody else, and then I managed to get myself out to LA with this like internship, and then I managed to convince them to let me stay for an extra week, and I like took a few, I don't know, I was just really relentless and sort of like, like I said before, I wasn't being too strategic. I was just going for like everything. And by fluke, I got a publishing deal. Most people don't get a publishing deal without like a song cut.
I know, that's
or
like, how did you?
Yeah, like it was me just being like, you guys, I'm a really hard worker. You should trust me. You should bring me. And they took a risk on me, and it got me out here.
Was it difficult initially? Like, did people not want to work with you, or like getting your name out there?
No, actually, there's a funny thing in LA where newbies are appreciated. There's this sort of, this sort, well, at least, maybe if you're coming to the city and you're unpublished, and like, then it's a lot harder. But if you're with the right sort of crowd, like, I didn't find it too difficult to get started. I was getting plugged into like, good sessions, and people were excited. I had already with me written Catch, Prime, and this other song, Tongue Tied, that I never released, but it did get leaked. And so I was, kind of playing that, and the reactions were really good, I remember. So once I was here, things started moving. They hadn't moved for like 4 years, and then they just started to go, and it was crazy.
How did you, was it so you were juggling time between writing for yourself and writing for other people?
Yeah, because like I always just wanted to be an artist, but when I got that publishing deal, I didn't want to tell my publishers, like, actually, like, I just want to write for me. So yeah, and then, through writing for others, I ended up meeting a lot of people and working with like Troye Sivan, which was great.
Yeah,
and
how did that happen?
Just a mutual like writer friend that was friends with both of us, like put us in a room together. And also Troye had tweeted about a song of mine like really early on, and so
that's really cool.
Yeah, so I was like, that was before he even put music out. He was just like a YouTuber.
Oh really? Wow,
Yeah,
this would mean years ago then.
2014, yeah. So
wow, he hasn't even been doing, I guess that's 4 years now. Wow.
Yeah, we started writing in, was it 2014? I think it was the end of 2014 would have been our first session. And that's been great. That's been like one of the best things that's happened to me out here.
How do you decide to launch your own imprint?
It was a combination of limited options, i.e. like, like it's not like I had all these huge offers on my plate to pick from, and then also just a real desire to be independent, remain like artistically just true to what I was seeing, and not have the pressure of like, this is on the radio right now, you should make something that sounds like exactly like this or whatever. So kind of a combination of those two things.
And Murakami's been like a huge help for you, right?
Yeah. Murakami, through those years in Toronto, was like keeping me company. His characters were my friends. Just sort of this like magical world. Like I used to I'd be on my computer for like 5 hours trying to make music, and then I would take a break and eat lunch, and I would like be reading 1Q84 and just sort of like, it would give me this sort of like space in my mind and this feeling of, just felt like I really related to his characters. Yeah.
Is that still a big part of you now, like that fantasy life?
It is. I'm actually like rereading because I've read everything. Yeah. Aww. I'm trying to find an author that I like love that much, and I can't find one.
And then were you like spending a lot of time in the hospital?
I have been in hospitals throughout my life for various ailments I'd rather not get into, but yeah, you know, like that's definitely something that has impacted me. I don't know, like that it's exactly got to do with identity, with the identity questions that I try to like, you know, answer in my work, but probably somewhat.
Yeah. How are you able to find your identity now?
I don't know, like, I feel like just naturally as you get older, you start to find yourself more. And that's something that I've definitely experienced in these last few years. I've grown up a lot since I moved here. Then just kind of like really being true to yourself, especially as an artist, and an artist when you have a big team and you have these sort of important people and they're telling you one thing, and sometimes you just want to please them, but you really just need to listen to your gut. But I don't know, like the world is, those are the two things that come to mind first, but like the world is just such a crazy, like life is just such a crazy abstract experience, and like what is all this, like like I don't really know, and I've never liked to pretend that I have answers or that I'm some sort of role model, when really I'm just as confused as a lot of my fans.
What's the decision to like work with or talk a lot about the LGBT community?
Yeah. It's not so much a decision as just like that's my family, and they always have been, always my closest friends, and even some of my boyfriends. You know, and it's just a place that I find a lot of support and comfort, and so I just do for them what they do for me. And I've just never even understood like homophobia. Like it just doesn't make sense to me. It makes me angry. So I just try and normalize it, I guess, in my little way.
Where do you get yourself from?
I think I get it from being really insecure about my body and trying to cover
you're
it
so
up.
fit, I can't.
And then also like
best legs.
I do like my legs, but there's other parts I don't. And then yeah, kind of just like what makes me feel like powerful, and like I think I like people staring at me in some ways. I like to be kind of, whereas I used to want to just fit in with all the kids at school. Now I like to sort of stand out as someone different, and so I think my style reflects that as well.
How would you say your music has changed since the early songs you made?
Wow. I mean, early on, I was very sort of, it wasn't so much poetry as it was just literal feelings, and I think it was like too much. And the way that I've used my voice has really evolved. Like when you're a trained singer, and I'm not saying that in an impressive way, I think it kind of like gets in the way of like making good music sometimes, when you're like using too much vibrato, or like your voice is too. So I think my voice has really sort of changed, and yeah, and like I don't know, with every body of work that I do, and I'm working on one right now, and maybe another one after that as well, and it just sort of I just really feel like an evolution, and you just, the more you listen to, the more influenced you are, I guess.
How do you say you've grown as a person since when you started?
Well, there's negative and positive.
Yeah.
I've become more jaded for sure. And some of the magic that I've felt has turned into, the magic has turned into money, I think, and like it's sort of, when you actually break into the industry and you know people start taking you seriously, like you just see things sort of differently, and it's just bound to happen. I think it happens to anyone who's aspiring to come to LA, and then you know it actually starts to work, and then you start to sort of see things differently. But on the positive side, I've become a better musician. I've become a better artist. I've learned how to really share my art with people and hopefully help them. You know, that's what they say to me, and that means a lot. I've met a lot of, I'm surrounded by inspiring artists. And yeah, I think I've learned how to, in my personal life, I've learned how to share and be more compassionate. So I think one thing I've talked about a lot in my work is sort of this mental battle of like, am I a good or a bad person, and like what does that mean like on either side? And these days I'm feeling like better about that. I think I'm a good person, and I think that's a big progress to sort of be feeling that way. So,
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Actually, similar to that, but what would you say have been your biggest challenges?
Yeah, like mental health, physical health, being broke.
Yeah.
Which is, that's actually never been the biggest thing, but it is a challenge. And feeling, I'm not a person that gets lonely, but feeling like in LA, like a lack of real friendship. All my I have so many like friends here, but it's always business. So that's something I'd like to work on. I'd like to have some.
What does success look like to you?
Like, I'm not going to pretend that I don't want to make money. I'd like enough money to be comfortable. I don't need a mansion or anything, but, you know, just enough to sort of feel comfortable. Success is being proud, more than money. Success is being proud of the work that I put out there and feeling that it, feeling just that it's meaningful. And I feel like sometimes when you're working in pop, like that doesn't always work with what's popular or on the radio. So that's something I'm always trying to be mindful of. And I think just if in 5 years I find myself in a place where I feel calm and content, like that's success. Like, I don't know, I'm always drawn to this like tortured existence of being in highs and lows, and like I think sensitive artistic people are just naturally like that, but I've become very aware of it and how it's detrimental to me, and so I think just working towards like being a little more calm would be really good. Yeah.
What does love mean to you?
Oh, love. I feel like it took me so long to understand sort of what love means, which is unconditional support and friendship. And like physical attraction is in there too, and that's kind of like the high that you get, and like like it's nice, but at the end of the day I really feel like it's being able to be completely yourself in front of someone and know that you won't be judged and that you'll be loved. Yeah.
Last question. What do you want to be remembered for?
Fuck, that's some deep, like, I want to be remembered for being a unique, strong-willed person who fought for what they believed in and never gave up on evolving. I think as people get older, they sort of they get comfortable, and it's funny because I was just saying something that kind of contradicts this, but I think it's important to always keep trying to learn and to communicate and to be of some help to society.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you so much. This is awesome.
Thank you. It's a really good interview. I think it helps my nerves to walk.
Same.